Hi everyone, today we're going to be changing batteries in electronic watches, wrist watches, which is something that everybody needs from time to time. Everybody needs to do. This one, we're going to be looking at this one in particular, which is my absolutely favorite one, calculator Memo watch. And then I can do the same, go over the same process and change the battery on that one, which is actually a heart rate monitor. I have chosen those two ones in particular because they have bigger surface and you can understand easily what is going on inside. All the individual components are visible with the naked eye, and of course the circuit is bigger, so you have plenty of space to work with. So the first thing to do is to get the type of battery that is needed for your watch and get a new one before you go ahead and open your watch. Now, the best source for information regarding your watch is your manual that comes along with it, and if you don't have a manual, then we have to open it and check the type of the battery based on the previous one, which is already inside. Following this rule number one, check the manual. We are looking at the second watch now, the manual, because I don't have the calculator watch manual, and there is no type of battery there somewhere written, but we are lucky because the black watch here has the type of battery needed at the back. So we can see that it's has that 2032. For the most part, those are 3-volt batteries, and they have these CR initials in the beginning, like for the most part, in most cases. Now the other one, the calculator watch, we need to open 4 screws each watch, remove the plates, and remove the old battery, slip the new one inside, and will be done in no time. Again, watch out for the right type of battery. Some are thinner, some are not so thin, so it might not fit. The wristband here snapped on me after all these years. I think I can get rid of that and get a new one. After all, it's now useless. I have replaced the wristband, but it's not the right one. Anyways, I can get a new one later on. So last time I changed the battery in this one, I remember it was 2025. Again, a second glance on the other watch, it's CR 2032. So we have the batteries that we need, 2032, 2025. Let's get on and open this guy and start performing the operation, and it will take just 5 minutes or so. We have to be extra careful when removing the little screws, 4 screws right here from the back, because the plastic case might be damaged, so you don't want to make them extra tight, especially if and when you are going to put them back, finalizing the battery replacement process. And what a beautiful circuit we have here. We can see individual components, we can see resistors, a capacitor, a couple of coils, and here is the big guy, our battery, facing down. Again, watch out not to damage the little holes on the plastic case. This is a non-conductive sticker we need to remove, and underneath the sticker is the positive pole of our battery, and the battery is in place using this metal case, which we're going to remove. And this guy here on the back cover is the buzzer. We can see that there might be 1 or 2 springs, like those 2 little springs, always to be in touch with in contact with the buzzer. The buzzer gives us the sound, the alarm sounds, and all the sounds that the watch does performing operations, calculations, memo diary operations, and whatever. So try not to lose the springs, do not flip over the watch while working. because these little springs might be lost. Again, you can clearly see that there are other screws holding the whole body of the watch together. We don't want to remove those. We just need to remove the ones that are holding the battery cover in place. And in this case we have three. Now we can have a better look without the sticker. We have one screw here holding this metal plate. We have two. We have three. For example, this one, which holds the rest of the body of the watch, shouldn't be removed. And again, watch out for these little springs. Now you can have a better view of the springs which are responsible for making sounds in contact with the buzzer. So we can clearly see that again, three screws to remove. Remove the battery, slip the new one inside, and get it fixed. It's pretty easy if you think of it. The only thing is to be a bit cautious with the components, the springs, and some other things. Like, for example, a very important thing you should take a second look at is the polarity. The way you are looking now at the battery with all the markings and trademarks, and the big plus sign is always the positive pole, and it should always be like this. Negative pole is underneath in contact with the rest of the circuitry. We have removed the plate. We have the new one here waiting, and it's now time to remove the old battery carefully with the use of, you can touch it actually because it's dead. It doesn't matter if you touch it with your hands, but I try to be as gentle as possible with these little tiny circuits. So yeah, here is the negative pole, which is right there in touch with the underside of the battery. Always the negative goes there and has no markings or anything, and there is this plastic around the battery that separates the positive from the negative pole, and the negative pole is a bit narrow compared to the positive side. Alright, so this one is useless. Let's get on and put the new one into place. Now I'm touching with my hand both poles just because it's dead. You don't have to do that when touching the new battery. Avoid touching the battery using your hand on both poles. You can touch it like this using the positive pole only. Otherwise it might be slightly discharged because of your body. So, two important things. Check the polarity of the battery and how to slide it in, and the way you are touching it. And so the way I'm going to do this now, holding and grabbing it from the positive pole only, putting the new one into the battery compartment. Don't forget to recycle the old one, and I'm ready now to screw back the metal case that holds the battery into place, and then we have to put back the conductive non-conductive sticker and the back cover of the watch along with the buzzer, and we're almost done. Now three points, three screws are holding again in this case it might be 2, 3 or 4 in some other watches, the metal case. So actually what we're doing is everything in reverse order. That's what we do now, putting back everything together like we did here with the metal case that holds the battery, and then the back cover of the watch, always to make contact, the buzzer to make contact with these little alarm springs in order to make the sound, and that will be all. Even if you flip it over, the buzzer is placed in the center at the back of the cover, so it doesn't matter what the orientation of the back cover will be, but I will put it like this, like we did it before, like the way it used to be, like this. So we are absolutely sure that it's going to be working after all. I mean, the buzzer and the sounds and everything, it put the screws back together. And last but not least, we should put back the little white this non-conductive plastic sticker the way it used to be right there, as it is essential. If you don't have it, or it's useless, cannot be attached anymore, just put a piece of cellophane tape or whatever non-conductive material you can find. And then we're putting back the cover, put the 4 screws, not too tight again, and then we can test the watch. What I do is I put 2 opposite screws, just 2 in the beginning, in order to see that the watch is working and you don't have to screw everything back and unscrew then and start looking for the problem. And take a look at the watch before you put the other 2 last screws in place. And I think we're good. It's working. Now I can put the rest of the screws and eventually call it a wrap. Remember that it's almost the same or identical process that you need to follow for every watch out in the markets. I mean, simple watch, calculator watch, whatever, but simple like this one. The same steps should be followed. It's more or less the same process, the same orientation of the circuitry and everything. Even the orientation of the individual components could be pretty much the same, so don't be afraid to tackle it. You can change the battery by yourself within 5 minutes. As you have seen, it's pretty much simple. You have to be cautious with a couple of things, but that's all you have to do. I have to get a new wristband, recycle the battery, and that was all for today. I mean, yeah, we did it right and in no time at all. We'll follow the same process and go ahead and replace the battery on this other heart rate monitor watch that I have here on the side waiting. Oh, and another thing, for those of you who have been observant and you have noticed that the CR2025 is the type of battery that we need, and apparently what it was inside the watch is a DL2025. I have to tell you that DL stands for Duracell. It's the same type of battery, but Duracell decided to pick those two instead of CR to match their batteries and to name their batteries after their own brand name. That's the only difference. Apart from that, you have to be cautious, and it's good to notice that it's the same battery. The voltage is what needs to be checked, and the thickness of the battery, I mean the shape and the thickness of the battery, in order to for the battery to be able to fit the right way, I mean firmly inside your watch, and you're good to go. And yeah, in the meantime, I follow the same steps and the same process and change the battery on this other heart rate monitor watch, this black one. Thanks for watching, guys. I hope you found this interesting. Give us a thumbs up if you will. Consider subscribing, and I'll be catching you soon with another video. Thanks, bye.